Hello, Victor here, StoryMercedes.com, and this is the video of another project car that I was gonna make, but I never had a good day, plus I never had time, and right now I do have a little bit of time to make video about this. And also this is gonna be sort of a reminder of what was wrong with it before. I mean, what I see preliminarily. Well, actually I went through it a little bit, but man, it's a long story, really. The car sat for many years outside, and suspension obviously was all down, and all this bad stuff. So I don't, there's like really no place to start about it. Well, I would start that I bought it cheap, okay? Cheap because they had so many issues. The car was non-running, it was on the floor, tires are flat, and it won't start. And nothing would work in it except for some lights, but that's about all. So I guess I'll start with the front end first. What's going on here? Just so I remember. Just immediately up front, obviously the bumper to be repainted. This thing is all cracked up and scratched up. The siren is bad for the alarm. So it's in there. I took it up. The batteries are kind of like melted. Not melted, but the acid from batteries came out. Scratches, dents, this and that, obviously. Tires to be replaced. Brakes are completely rotted out. As you can see, they're like pure rust because it hasn't been driven in years. Tires are obviously resurfaced, but most likely replaced because they have cracks in them. Actually, you might see a weld repair. Let me see if I can get this camera to zoom on it. Right there. And it's basically on all of them. So don't think I'm going to restore these tires. I mean the rims rather, because TPMSs are probably gone. So it's like he probably gets another set of rims and tires. The AC works. That's good news. ABC pump. It started working, but the pressure is okay, but it's noisy. So it's ABC pump is messed up. Pulleys were bad, belt was bad, belt tensioner was bad. I still have to replace these two pulleys. I have them, those two, but I'm gonna do it when I'm dealing with the actual ABC pump. Okay. The expansion tank has a crack here. There was a leak out here for the high pressure washers, which one of them is broken, so I just pushed it back in and capped the high pressure washer on headlamp system. So that's that. This cap was missing. What else? There's misfiring going on both sides. Coils, obviously, that's the problem. Valve cover leaks a little bit, but slightly seeping a little bit. I might do it when I do coils. Power steering works. ABS seemed to work. I mean, I didn't test it. Superchargers, I mean, not super, oh god, turbos. Turbos seem to spool. That's good. And seems like the radiators are not leaking. Now, Parktronics are obviously not working. Underneath the car, I have leaks on ABC hoses. This is clear. Right here, as you can see, it's all moist, and here you got the droplet accumulating right there. So ABC hoses, high pressure hoses to be replaced. There is one here as well. That's that. Suspension has a couple of clunks. I'm not sure what's up with that yet, but to be determined. Headlights work, they adjust, so that's good. Same on this side, obviously. Brakes, no good. Moving forward, windshield wipers work. There is a crack on the windshield. This is expensive because, there's sensors over there up front for rain sensor, light sensor. Mirrors work. And before I move on, they actually hood struts hold too. That's very unusual, but they do hold. Engine starts now. It runs pretty good. so that's good. What I'm doing right now is, as you can see, the reason I have time to make this video is I'm pumping out transmission fluid. I'll get to that in a minute, but let me just create vacuum in this pump, let us do its job, and then we'll move on, so I don't spend my time on that. Okay, so that's that. Moving on, the interior is very dirty. Driver's side window is cracked, so that's to be replaced. Radio didn't work, shifter didn't shift. I mean, none of this stuff worked. I got it to work. A big problem here was that the rear heater, as you can see, these are pipes that go to rear heater. They're rotted, and coolant was leaking in that area where pipes enter through the car, and also there was a water leak on top of that. So all of this was wet, and it's still wet. We'll move on to the back of the car where it's very apparent. As you can see, there's still a little bit of moisture here and there. You see these droplets because they coming from foam. Foam was saturated pretty badly. So this is, I'm thinking once I get this thing running and driving normally, I hope I will get this done sooner or later. And then I'm going to get to removing this whole floor with seats and do a thorough wash, like a serious wash. Now there's a little bit of mold going on, and you know, all of that has to be cleaned off. It cleans off, but with lots of scrubbing. Now the seats, the leather condition is good, so therefore interior, it has potential. It's actually not too bad. It just needs to be cleaned off very, very well. Same for the exterior, but that needs like a wet sanding and whole nine. The keyless entry buttons, they're broken, the little pieces. The covers, seats didn't move, so this one was seized up. Now it's moving, it's good. I have a little bit of oil here sitting. The biggest issue was here. Actually, this is not the hugest issue. For me, this is not the biggest issue, but this is an issue. This is where all the good stuff happened, and there's still water here, and it's all saturated. As you can see, there's still water because I bought this car in the winter. It's actually coolant. As you can see, coolant green, because those lines kept just seeping, and the fluid would just keep gathering here in the back. You see, it's really, really nasty here. Terrible, really. So, and this is another rear SAM module with original connectors that I have to redo anyway. Tele 8 system, telephone system, these are all gone. I don't need it anyway, but still. Dynamic seat module and ventilated rear seats module, I don't know, it doesn't work, but I'll figure that out later. I don't need to deal with it now. AC gives out a couple of codes for evaporator sensors. That is something to look into, but that's later on, because I'm gonna, once it drives, then I'm going to remove the rear HVAC system. Oh, both fans were seized, in the rear one and the front one. The front one I took apart and I freed it and I lubed it, and it works nice now. Blower fans. Rear fan was not working, but once I dried the car up, it kind of started slowly, but now it works. So that's good news. So that is that. Okay, suspension. Obviously, valves are leaking, so the car drops after it sits for a little bit. It's warmer now, so the car didn't drop a lot. It's still lower. As you can see, the wheel is down in. It's like it deflated, the suspension went down. Front ones hold on a little better, but then I get ABC codes anyway, so that is not good. So valves to be rebuilt. Outside it has scratches and dents and stuff. It's not super pretty looking, but again, this is detailing and wet sanding. There are lots of swirls, as you can see. This is just insane amount of swirls. and scratches all over. It's just pretty bad. But again, some wet sand and some touch-up, maybe a day spent on it. Couple of dents, like so this is a bad dent, here's a bad dent, that I might try to get out. There was a little bit of paint work, it appears, because this is orange peel right here. I can tell, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but here is like smooth, here is a little bit of orange peel, same here. Again, there might be some rust repairs because these cars rust. A little bit of a rust spots developing back here. This is the problem with these cars, and unfortunately there is nothing I can do about that right now. This wheel was cracked and the tire was cracked, I mean the tire was gone, so I had to put the spare on it. So that's that. Door suction and door locks work, that's good news. Rear shade works. Heated seats up front work, heated steering wheel works. Radio I patched up, I bypassed fiber optics so I can get some sound to go on. Left amplifier and radio only. That's what I did. So that works. So let me just pause the video. I think if it's for me, it's some delivery, and I'll continue the recording. Okay, so FedEx had just left right there, so let's continue with what we're doing here. Now, so again, rust spots, understandable. I opened the trunk in the meantime, so let's see what we have here. There was a little bit of water down there, usual kind of scenario, but not too much. I just had to remove all of this so I can loop out fiber optics. You know, it's like just disconnect the whole fiber optics. I removed the dynamic seat pump, which is laying in there, so that's not something that is important at this point. These are the paneling, that's the dynamic pump, reservoir, and all that good stuff. This is the rear seat track. There are electric seats in the back right here. There was a battery drain before I disconnected tele-aid and all that stuff. Now there is no drain, they were draining battery. The hydraulic trunk, the trunk assist, opening and close, the pump was seized, so the motor was burnt, so I just basically removed it right now. I have another one, but again, this is not the this is not some vital thing right now. I mean, this is not, you know, nothing that I'm not worried about that. That's easy stuff. That's like whatever. I'll do it later, whenever. First is to get it to run. I mean, to drive, really. It does drive, but not for too long. And I'll get to that in a minute. So first I want to show some wiring that rotted out up front. I forgot to show it, since once I was here, there was a connector in this area here that actually was completely rotted out, and it's still bad, but yeah. So you see, I ran a bypass for now. This one is just to get some power going. This is the connector, which is messed up, so I gotta deal with it later. Again, it's not the idea. The problem right now is the transmission, because it's bad, and I'm trying to clean it with filters for now. Now this area, I want to show you the original modules and fuse box. I mean, the rear salmon fuse box, what was left from it. And I think that would be end for this video, because as you can see, this is quite a project here. Reason I'm pumping the transmission fluid is, as you can see, it's pretty good, because it's just been replaced. I don't know if you can see it. I mean, the camera doesn't focus when it needs to. So it's red, it's nice, because it was just recently replaced. And the problem is, transmission has lots and lots and lots and lots of crap in it, and that's the series of video that I made about, before I even made video about the overall vehicle, because I wanted to see if I can get transmission. It's still